It's used to express very big, very, did I start recording? I don't remember. I'm recording. Yes, I did. Okay. What is that right in there? I don't need that. Very big and very small numbers. Okay. Anyone think of a place where scientific notation is used? Like in science a lot. Like with moles and stuff, right? What's a mole? I do 6.2.
6.022
Times 10 to the 23rd or 10 to the negative 23rd? Is it?
23rd.
Oh, 10 to the 23rd? So is that a unit of measurement weight or something, right? Yeah, so mole is a number. You can express speed for very big numbers. You can express very small numbers, like using scientific notation and so forth. But basically, scientific notation like this, 7.2 times 10 to the 5th, that's a number in scientific notation. Okay? Another number in scientific notation is like 2.7. 2.7 times 10 to the negative 6th power. That's scientific notation. Okay? And when you write numbers in scientific notation, it's in the form number, so there's one digit before the decimal place, and then however many digits you need after the decimal place. Right? Blake, have you seen this before? Okay. Can anyone tell me how I could rewrite 7.2? Well, it's of the form n times 10 to the 10 to the m, where n is, my Mobi is still messing up, where n is a number between 1 and 9, right? So it can't be a number bigger than 9 over here, and it has to be bigger than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 9. Okay? So if I write 7.10 times 10 to the 5th, that means 7.10, 10 to the 5th it's a 1 with 5 zeros after it, right? So if I do that, all I have to do is multiply this by 5 zeros. So this is equal to 7.2. Start here and then move the decimal place 5 places, right? That's 7.2 times 10 to the 1st, right? 7.2 times 10 to the 2nd, 7.2 times 10 to the 3rd, 7.2 times 10 to the 4th, 7.2 times 10 to the 5th, right? And so if I wanted to rewrite that as a whole number, I would start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. So 7.2 times 10 to the 5th means the same as 720,000. Yeah? How would I go 2.7 times 10 to the negative 6? 2.7 times 10 to the negative 6. 6 times which way? The other way, right? So 2.7 times 10 to the negative 6 means I go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a decimal place there, and I put zeros everywhere I need them. So I would add, let's see, this is 1, I'd add 5 zeros to the left, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is equal to, that's equal to 0.0000027. Basically, so kind of using our rules of exponents, this means 2.7 times 1 over 10 to the 6, right? Well, 10 to the 6 is, what is 10 to the 6? 1 million, right? So basically you're dividing 2.7 by 1 million, and you would get this, right? That this means the same. This is equivalent to this, right? Because 10 to the negative 6 is 1 over 10 to the 6, right? So basically that's what you're doing when you're writing something in scientific notation, okay? Now go in the other direction. What if I wanted to do 0.000000 0.0000372, and I say write in scientific sci notation. Hey, what would that be? Tia.
3.72 times 10 to the negative 6.
Yep, 3.72 times 10 to the negative 6. If it's a small number, right, it's going to be, right, because you have to count how many decimal places until I get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, right, so that's where the negative 5 comes from. But basically what you're doing, you're taking this number, you don't have to know this, but it's interesting to know where it comes from, that you're not just, basically you're multiplying this by 1, okay? Except you're calling that 1 10,000, right? You're calling that 1 10,000. What's 10,000 divided by 10,000? Right? It's 1. So if I multiply this by 10,000, that would move that decimal place 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So what I would get is 3.72 if I multiplied the top by 10,000, and the bottom I'd get 10 to the 4th power, and that can be rewritten as 3.72 times 10 to the Oh, I don't have enough zeros there, sorry. Another 0, another 0, another 0, times 10 to the negative 4th. That should be a 10 to the 5th, right? Because there's 5 zeros. So that's basically what you're doing. You're multiplying this by this over this, and you call this 1, but you don't have to worry about that. All you have to do is know how to do it, okay? How about writing a very large number? Write 167000000 in scientific notation. What is that number? What is that number? What is this place? Well, this is the thousands, this is the millions, this is the billions. 1,670,670,000,000. How can I write that in scientific notation? Go ahead, Will.
1.67
Yep.
times 10 over 9.
Not 10 over 9, 10 to the...
To the 9.
Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep. 1.677. Easy enough? Okay, we're done. No, we're not. So, how about this? What if I had something like this? 56.97 times 10 to the 8th. And I say, rewrite that in proper scientific notation, because that's not really proper scientific notation. How do I change that into proper scientific notation? Go ahead, Ben.
5.6.
Yeah, 5697 times. Very good. Okay. If this number goes down, gets smaller, right? This number has to get bigger, right? Because basically here, what I'm doing is I'm multiplying by 1 again. I'm dividing by 10, and I'm multiplying by 10, right? So if I multiply this by 10, this becomes 10 to the 9th. If I divide this by 10, this becomes 5.697. Don't worry about what you're doing there. Just remember, if this number gets bigger, this has to get, if this gets smaller, this gets bigger, right? All right, so now, We need a break. We need a break? No, unpause. Good. That was a good break. Multiplying numbers with scientific notation. And that happens a lot in science. Okay? So say I want to take 3.1 times 10 to the negative third, 3.1 times 10 to the negative third, and then I multiply it by 2.45, and you can use calculators for this, but you need to know how to do it by hand as well. 2.45 times 10 to the negative fourth. I'll show you both how to do it by hand and with the calculator. Okay? To the negative fourth. So basically what you do is you change the order of how you multiply things. So you're going to multiply the 3.1 times the 2.45, and then you're going to multiply the 10 to the negative third times the 10 to the negative fourth, right? Because really you're just multiplying, you're just changing the order of that. So first what I'm going to do is multiply 3.1 times 2.45. So you can do that on a calculator, and if you do that, you get 7.595. I'm just going to tell you. No, you don't. You get,
Is it times to the negative 4?
yeah, you get 7.5, that's to the negative 4, okay? 7.595 times 10 to the what power? Right? Add these exponents, right? That's negative 7. The only thing you got to be careful of with this is, see how this has two significant digits? Two significant digits, and your answer can only have as many significant digits as your least amount of significant digits in any of your problems. Yes, Tia?
Aren't they called
Significant figures? Is that what it? Okay, so let's call it significant figures. Okay? So your answer is only as accurate as your lowest significant figure number, right? And so this has to be rounded off to what? 7.6. So you round this off to 7.6 times 10 to the negative 7, because that's the least amount of significant digits in either number. Okay? Then we're going to do one with dividing, and then we're going to do a word problem, and then we're done. You ready to do one with dividing? Okay, dividing. Please. Oh, and then I'll show you on a calculator how to do it too. Okay? So, but I don't want you to use a calculator. That's kind of cheating. Say I have 3.48 times 10 to the negative 7. 3.48 times 10 to the negative 7, right? And I want to divide that by 4.64 times 10 to the 6. 4.64, that's a 6. 4.64 times 10 to the 6, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, just like I did before, I'm going to divide this by this, okay? Take the two numbers and divide. And if I divide that by that, apparently I get 0.75 exactly. 0.75 times 10 to the what? Negative 7 minus 6 is negative 13, okay? But this is not in scientific notation. How do I change this so that it's in scientific notation? What would that be? Go ahead, Ben.
7.5 times 10 to the negative 14.
Right, okay? Because this number, when I move this decimal here, I'm making this number bigger, right? So this needs to get smaller by one decimal place, right? So this becomes 7.5 times 10 to the negative 14. Yeah? Okay, last one, and then we're done. Okay, word problem. Word. Let's see if it updated in my Dropbox. In my what's this thing called? OneDrive. Open. Downloaded one. No, that's a OneDrive. Advanced Add 1. Chapter. I put this in here last night. Let's see if it's there. Facebook problem. There is a Facebook problem. Do you guys have a Facebook problem? Are you on Facebook? Do you guys use Facebook? No. So there's no Facebook, but there's a Snapchat problem, right? I should have done a Snapchat problem or an Instagram problem instead of a Facebook. Facebook is like old school, right? So in 2011, there. Whoops, where'd it go? Let's see. Can I write on top of that? There I can. In 2011, 750 million active users of Facebook spent 700 billion minutes. It's true. 700 billion minutes per month using Facebook. How many minutes did the average Facebook user use each month? Who can tell me how to set that problem up? What? It is a division problem. So what do I divide by what? Which goes on top, which goes on the bottom?
750.
700 billion goes on the top. So this is, yes, it'd be 700, because minutes per, or total, so you want to see how much each person used, right? So if I have 700 billion minutes, I divide that by the number of users, which is 700. How do I write a billion in scientific notation? How many zeros does a billion have? 9. Okay? So it's 700 times 10 to the 9th. Yes?
And you can't do that.
No.
700. It's 7.
What?
You can't do that. You can only do one digit.
What? Yeah, but it says 700 billion, right? So it's 700 billion, right? So 700 billion, if I wrote it out, would look like 700, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right?
You still need to have the decimal, so it'd be 7 times 10 to the 11.
Yeah, yeah, you could write that 7 times 10. It doesn't matter, okay? Yeah, but our last answer is going to be in scientific notation. So I'm not going to worry about the putting it in proper scientific notation until the end. Because otherwise I'm going to have to divide 7 by something and get a decimal. And I don't like decimals. Okay? So I'm just going to do this. 700 billion. How do I write 750 million? How many zeros after a million? 10 to the 6th, right? It's okay. Your way is fine too. Both ways are right. So now I need to divide 700 by 750. Who can tell me what I get? Go ahead. Use your calculator. Sydney's doing it for you. 700 divided by 750. Point something. 93 bars, right? So 93 repeating times 10 to the what power? 10 to the 3rd, right? Is that correct? And then I'm going to move this decimal place this way. And since this number got bigger, right, this number needs to get smaller. 9.3 times 10 to the what power? Second power. Which is 930, right? Is that right? 930? About. Or 933 really, because this is repeating. So about 933 to the average Facebook. So the average Facebook users spend 933 minutes on Facebook. How many hours is that? Okay. 66, about 20 hours, right? 20 hours? No, a month. Maybe 18 hours, somewhere around. Okay? Any questions about scientific notation? You got that pretty good? Not too hard? Okay. you guys got 20 minutes, you could start on your, Math Excel. Yes, sir. What? Yes, you have to always regular. Yes. Yes. Math Excel is all you have. Yes, sir.
Alright.
Okay. And then in parentheses, I would put 750 times 10 raised to the 6th power. And then arrow over to close the parentheses, hit enter, you get 933. I think you can change this into scientific notation. Anyone know how to do that? Mode. So let's see what happens if I go here. Scientific notate, psi. If I hit psi, and I hit enter, and then I go back, that didn't do it. How do I change it? So if you guys want to get things into scientific notation, you can go to mode and see where it says psi. You want to put it in psi, and then it'll put things. But that's just to check your answer. I don't want you to do that on a quiz. I got to see your work and on your homework. Okay. The end. Yes.